groups, it's not appropriate. It's disgusting in a way. It's
No, I'm with you on that. I think this notion that people should 100% be themselves or whatever the hell that means all the time is so like solipsistic and self-centered that it's gross. I get that. Mary, though, as a performer and being on stage, she's working through talking about something that she doesn't want to talk about.
Well, in general, I'm saying on stage, off stage, I'm in the camp of, I don't know. It just seems like that's something that you should talk about with people you want to have sex with.
But
and
DT's point, I think we're talking about two different things here. DT is talking about these things in public or mixed company being inappropriate.
Agree.
You're talking about, you don't like talking about them because you're picturing people doing the stuff.
Right. But I'm saying that even if we're at a party and 5 of us are standing in a circle and someone starts telling a story about having sex, I'm probably going to excuse myself from that circle because I don't want to picture that person having sex. I don't want to hear about you having sex unless I want to sleep with you. I
guess it's because, like, I know what sex is. So there's no new information I know it's just where your brain goes, but I'm just saying there'll be no new information for me to glean from specifically picturing that person having sex.
But that doesn't rub you one way or the other.
Yeah.
This person is a friend of mine. I don't really want to picture them doing that. This person is unattractive. I don't want to picture them doing that.
I mean, most people are unattractive.
That's what I mean.
The
I'm not
thing
thinking about them
doesn't really
having sex.
happen. Like, and it's just not. It doesn't bother me, and it's not inappropriate or what. Like, I don't have any hang-ups on it whatsoever, and it's just not. It's not bothersome to me.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't want to be.
It's a private thing. It's a thing that should be kept private.
There's nothing wrong with
between you and the person that you do that with, or people. I don't know, whatever you're doing.
Nothing wrong with
That's
it.
fine if that's how you feel. That's fine. I just don't. I didn't
know you were specifically picturing people having sex.
I'm saying it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't.
You're telling me you do. Like when you told the story
slam
about
dunking
stopping,
a basketball.
When you, like that could ever happen. When you told us the story about you stopping in the parking garage and honking at the 2 women crying, I'm getting a very clear image of 2 ladies crying and you honking your horn at them, and I'm like, that's so rude. And that's
it was rude. They were in my way.
I think that's why I have
crying during daytime hours.
You want to talk about doing something in private?
Reactions.
Step to the side, go inside, and cry at each other there. You are in public here. It's not just sex that's inappropriate to do publicly. Get out of my way. You're crying in front of the entrance to the parking garage. I don't know your situation.
I didn't mean to make you mad all over again.
You're not making me mad. I'm saying that's another point on the curve that has nothing to do with sex, but should also not be done publicly.
Much more valid.
That was another thing I was saying that I pictured, that I could physically see you in your car with 2 ladies in front of the car hugging, like it's like I said, like a movie. So because I picture all stories like that, I think that's why I get so uncomfortable when people talk about sex.
What if the ladies start kissing?
When somebody that I don't particularly care to see naked or is a friend of mine or a relative of mine, I'm like, I don't want to hear anything about this because my mind's automatically going to start showing me what you look like.
I guess my thought is, and I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just speaking out loud. I'm trying to process that whole situation.
That's how you speak.
I guess my thought. Did I say speaking?
Speaking out loud.
Thinking. Sorry,
Speaking out loud.
I'm thinking out loud. Sorry. It's just me speaking out loud, Bill. All right, let me speak out loud. Is like, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't think. Listen, if my brother was like, "Yeah, we were banging it out the other night," I'd be like, "Okay, I know what that is," but I wouldn't think of him doing it.
It's not necessarily just mentioning it because my friends and I have talked about sex, or they're like, oh, my husband and I this, that, or the it's not even that. It's, to me, it's when people get into
graphic
detail
depictions
and the word choices and it's not just oh, we were banging it out the other night and this and this and this happened.
Oh, well, that's a little daylight then in there.
It was the best thing that I've ever felt. It's not that. It's when people are describing it. When I'm like, this
that's
is
unnecessary.
The most inappropriate thing I've ever heard.
That's somebody trying to get under your skin.
Not just me. I don't understand the mentality of that, where people are fully comfortable having conversations like that in a group of people. You're in a room, and you're just having that conversation.
I mean,
That's
I've never,
crazy to me.
over the course of my life, have never had I don't have like a group of bros, right? So I was never like the
you
guy.
and Mark Nolan and Chris Ty weren't talking about all the times you guys.
No, we weren't.
Slam some poon.
No, we were not. No.
Some war stories.
No, we were all talking shop. I found a couple of dudes who understood where I was coming from.
I've been called prude so many times in my life, and I'm like, I'm not prude. When it comes down to
because people are texting that,
sex,
and I was like, I don't really think of it as a prude thing.
When it comes to doing stuff with one other person, I am not prude by any means. And like I said, all the talk and everything that you would say to me one-on-one in the bedroom is meant for that space. I don't think that that's prude because I don't want to hear about it from someone.
No, it's boundaries. There's actually nothing wrong with that at all. It's
yeah.
You've got some boundaries and you don't want that.
And also,
it's different for other people, whereas I'm not worried about that, but you are, and that's fine.
I've never made a big deal about it. When stuff like that starts to get up, I might make like a comment and be like, gross, and walk away. Like 99% of the time, I'll just be like, I don't want to listen to this, and I'll walk away.
Constantly.
Shame you about it? I've never even said anything other than ew, or Bill, or with Cody. Like, that's always my reaction.
She doesn't want to bring it up.
Because I don't want to talk about it. When you guys tell your stories, I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
Alan, Bill, Mary, I just want to say, Alan and Bill, I feel like you two are in the vast minority on this because I'm always doing exactly what Mary says. And as you guys were talking about envisioning a story someone's telling, I was envisioning you guys talking about it. So
just watch the live stream.
But yeah, everybody does this.
We're providing the pictures already. So if you're talking to a really hot guy who's giving a graphic description, you don't want any part of that either. It's got nothing to do with whether or not they're visually unpleasant.
Not necessarily in public, because like that type of porn appeals to me. Like the JOI stuff.
Oh, I thought just a guy telling a story. I'm like,
just
like the
men
worst
talking.
porn.
Tales of ribaldry.
This is really hypocritical. She hates when men talk. She hates when a man explains something to her, but now she's just listening to a man tell a story and jacking to it.
No. But I'm saying that, like, in public, regardless of how attractive you are or not, because I've worked with, what's his name? Colin Kane, who is super attractive, but absolutely filthy. And I was so uncomfortable being in the room while he was talking about things that I had to leave because I'm like, it doesn't matter how hot you are. This feels so inappropriate.
He's also not very funny.
But I mean, there's lots of people who aren't funny who talk about gross stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not even just
now, if
sex.
if it is funny, like, is there a threshold where you're like, this is so funny, I can kind of enjoy it?
I have yet to find that where someone is super, super dirty, but they're so funny because I don't think that I can put those on the same level.
Not only that, but there's been no stone unturned with the sex comedy stuff, right? There's nobody doing anything new with that kind of material. It's usually just...
I got a name for you, Dan Alton, because, boy.
You're just,
you know what?
But you're talking about stuff that, like, to get people feeling uncomfortable, and from that, they might laugh.
And this isn't gender-wise either, because, like, people, I mentioned, like, Jim Norton, but people bring up Nikki Glaser all the time, and they're like, she's super dirty, but so funny. And I'm like, I can't even see it as funny because it makes me so uncomfortable. So that's why I've never gravitated. Even like, who's the Australian Jim?
Jim Jeffries.
Jim Jeffries.
He's not necessarily sexual, but he's so vulgar that I'm like, I can't listen to this. This is not funny to me because I'm so uncomfortable with the language that you're using.
Wait, like the
no wonder
words?
you love Brian Regan.
I love Brian Regan. Like,
and Jim Gaffigan.
My favorite comics, Brian Regan, Jim Gaffigan, Nate Bargatze, Kyle Kinane, Kathleen Madigan, like all the comics that I love.
You like a pure joke comedy.
Yes, I want it to be silly and irreverent and funny and was silly and like I already said silly twice, but like that's what I like.
Tim Robinson, he's super silly.
I hate him. He yells too much and it's not funny at all.
And he likes sloppy steaks.
But yeah, vulgarity and like any kind of a sexual content or even just I don't really like vulgar conversations in general.
Well, for a while though, kind of to that point, vulgarity kind of had its lane. And now it's everywhere. Because everybody has an outlet for it. So people who are made uncomfortable by that kind of stuff, it's like you almost can't get away from it. And vulgarity takes different forms. It doesn't have to be salacious or sexual, right?
No.
There's a violent vulgarity. There's like the way people talk to each other or treat each other, That's all kind of part of that. But hey,
I also don't like gross things. Like when we talk about, pimples being popped and you guys show me those nasty videos. Like that's vulgar and repulsive to me in the same way.
well, yeah, that's why we were doing like Make Mary Puke or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. That's why Mary...
Mary reacts because you react so viscerally that it's
I hate
funny.
it.
Right. That's why Mary doesn't like 2,240 pounds, Bill.
I don't know what that is.
That's a gross ton.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Duke.
Oh, here we go.
What a setup. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
What? I gotta follow that opening.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to tell you, it's board meeting night here at the Dover Gardens, and one of my buddies is an attorney, and he's got a wealthy guy who collects art. And he called him, he said, Marty, he said, I got good news and bad news. And the art collector said, well, I've had a terrible day. Let's hear the good news first. He says, well, I met with your wife today. She said she invested $5,000 and 2 pictures she thinks can bring like $15 million. And I think she could be right. The guy said, that's great. He said, my wife's a brilliant businesswoman. You made my day. That's great. Well, what's the bad news? He says, well, it's pictures of you with your secretary.
Oh, Duke. Well, give my love to the staff of the Dover Gardens. I love that spot.
Hasta la vista, baby.
All right, thank you. There's
Was that like
Duke.
a Bay Village millionaire sex club?
No, that's the bar where the guy ran his pickup truck into it. Like, people got hurt in there a few years back. But I love the Dover Gardens. I liked it before and after there was a pickup truck in the front bar. I got a break here. But I think we've all learned something new. I was going to say about each other. Not really, but about Mary. And isn't that the point of all of this?
I'm just surprised that not everybody listens.
No, there's
like
a lot
that,
of people on your side.
But that is, I mean, I think of that's the point of telling any story. Any story that you're telling, you want people to imagine that they were there.
But the thing is, the way your brain imagines it's different than the way my brain imagines it.
Yeah, I think
I think that means your brain isn't imagining it.
No.
Your brain is listening, but you're not imagining it. You're listening.
No. There's people that have more visual brains and more auditory brains, and I'm more auditory.
I can't imagine listening to a story and just looking at the person's face and just listening to them talk.
Okay,
that
well
is a
then-
crazy concept.
Well, okay, well then
just listening and like paying attention.
No, because I'm paying attention while I'm listening, but just looking at them with no other pictures going on in my head, that's an insane
No,
concept.
I'll even give you that. I'm just saying it, but it's another step to be grossed out and need to leave the room by it.
Because I can't turn the pictures off.
Well,
I can't. When you start describing things, I cannot make my brain not see it.
yeah.
Like, I wish I could just look at you and be like, oh, watch the way his mouth is moving. That's crazy.
Once
that his
again, Bill
tongue does
dunking a
that.
basketball.
I'm telling you, I picture it. I picture your body trying to get up there.
Not trying, doing it.
In my head, there's a trampoline underneath you, and I apologize. that's
baby steps. I'm just going to eventually gaslight you into thinking that I can dunk.
Alan, I don't even know what your parents look like, and I was picturing them boning with you on the other side of a closed door.
Even that, too. It could just be that you're picturing a little kid outside of a closed door and 2 older people in bed together. You don't have to know what they look like. That's the scenario that your brain paints for you.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't. It's not really pictures to me.
That's also probably why you don't like reading, Bill.
If
you have a hard time painting a picture with words or listening to it.
It takes too long to do that. But audio, like, I can hear things and process it immediately. That's why I'm so good, like, at listening to things. Like, I listen to things and remember them forever. But if I read things or look at things, that doesn't translate the same way.
I think of it as like a dream where you see what's going on, but I'm not looking.
Your parents having sex, you think that's a nightmare.
What a dream.
But that, like, I'm not specifically picturing that person's face and their wiener.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean,
I am.
Yeah.
she is.
Bill
All
dunking
right.
a basketball.
What is that?
He wants to dunk a basketball.
But I want her to think that, I want to say it enough times that you just keep picturing it. So that's like.
But picturing it won't make it a reality.
But in her brain, it will. Because it's so real to her.
Now I'm just laughing at you trying to dunk a basketball.
Not trying. I'm accomplishing it. I'm accomplishing it, Mary.
In my head, it's you running, jumping, and like.
Nope. I'm doing like between the legs, around the back, and just slamming it home.
No, you're not.
He's like Space Jam. Okay, I got a break. Want to go see Better Than Ezra? They're back on the road. They're getting ready to drop a new album, too. It's called, what's it called? Black Magic or Strange Magic or something. Better Than Ezra is going to drop Super Magic. I knew I'd get it. On May the 3rd, they're going to do The House of Blues a couple of weeks after. And they'll get you set up coming back.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free